Welcome to Mobilefitlab After Hours. I'm Bella.
And I'm Joey Donalo.
And this is the Mobilefitlab Podcast After Hours, episode number 4. And today we are going to be talking through a little bit of macronutrients and nutrition and diet. And we're going to go through the newsletter that I'm going to send out today. And it is how to break down your diet in 5 easy steps to reach your physique goals. So if you want to... How did we get this newsletter?
Yeah, so if you're interested in following along with our newsletter, you can just send us a DM on Mobilefitlab or on Joey Donalo or Bella Donalo.
With your email, and I'll send it to you every Sunday.
Yeah, and you'll just get a link, sign up, simple.
Yeah, so basically the point of this episode today is for those of you who might be a little bit confused on what to be eating. I get a lot of questions like, what should I eat for breakfast? What should I eat for lunch, etc. How much protein should I be eating? Why am I working out so hard but I'm not reaching my physique goals? All of this comes down to organizing your diet. We can make diet and nutrition as simple or as complicated as you want it to be.
This is just going to be a basic rundown of a healthy diet that you can scale however you want to match your fitness goals.
This isn't anything super aggressive. This would be for someone just who wanted to reach their physique goals maybe, or who wanted to get a little bit more into what they're eating. This is a good way to set up your diet to build muscle and be healthy. And yeah. Okay, so we'll start with, Joe, you want to start with step 1?
Yeah, so first it's important to figure out what food you eat most regularly. On the newsletter, Bella has a list of her regularly eaten foods. I said that weird. But so she likes oatmeal, protein bars, protein powder, grilled chicken, yogurt, rice, bread, jelly, etc. I'm not going to go through all of them.
I also, eat ice cream. Yeah. I just made a little sample list. And when you're making your list, because again, people always say like, what do I eat for breakfast? Well, I don't know. Like, let me see your list of things that you like to eat. That's important to me, right? Because we all like different things. So break it down. So like if you eat tacos a lot, break that down. Like that would be tortilla, ground beef.
This is important because, we could put you on a diet that's going to give you 100% the best results no matter what. But if you don't like it, if you hate everything you're eating, you're not going to be consistent and it's not going to work in the long run.
Yes. So break it down as much as you can. Even like if you eat pizza a lot, write pizza and then dash.
I can make some healthy pizza, high protein pizza.
Cheese. Yeah. Okay. Second step is step 2, categorize them. Do you want to do this one too?
You can do this one.
Okay. Categorize them. So a little background. Basically, foods are made up of 3 macronutrients. This is fat, protein, and carbohydrates. So you're going to want to organize these. And obviously, they're made up of micronutrients too, and vitamins and whatever. But you're going to want to organize these into your macronutrients. So get a little piece of paper, make a list, carbs, fats, protein, write down all the food you like, put them in a list, okay? So it's important to remember that most foods do not only have one macronutrient in them. It's going to be really hard for you to find a food that only has fat or only has protein or only has carbs. But do put them in the category in which like they have the most of. So if something has the most carbs, it goes in the carb category. And you can use my list in the newsletter as a sample. You can Google like, is rice mostly a carb? Yes. Things like that. So categorize that list.
If it sounds a little confusing right now, trust me, it's like
the easy. It's very, very, very simple.
You figure it out, and you'll know right off the top of your head.
And also in the newsletter, I break everything down for you, so you can like literally take the newsletter, make a copy of it, and fill it out in your own way.
Basically, our weekly newsletter is going to be the guide to your success in fitness. So send us your email.
Okay, step 3.
Okay, you're going to combine step 1 and 2. So you're going to take the foods that you like and you're going to put them into, break them down into fat, carbs, protein, and then you're going to make meals out of them. So
you're going to basically take one from each column and make a meal. This is just a good way of building a healthy diet, is to always have a fat, a carb, and a protein in your meal. Obviously, it's going to vary. Like before a workout, I'm mostly eating carbs. After workout, I'm mostly eating carbs and protein. Things like that.
But again, this is the most general way you can build a healthy diet.
Like you just got to pick something and you got to run with it, right? So here's one thing you could run with. Make sure you have these balanced meals. So Example.
Okay. Here's an example of the breakfast.
Yeah.
We have for the carbs, oats. For the fats, nuts and milk. You can add those into the oats. And for the protein, you can add Greek yogurt on the side, or some people even put Greek yogurt in their oatmeal. I'm not a fan of that, but
I do that. Okay, here's a dinner example. Quesadilla. That would be your carb is your tortilla, and if you like veggies, add those in as a carb too. Your fat would be your cheese, or if you like add any sour cream on it, and your protein would be your chicken or your meat that's in your quesadilla.
Also, real quick, if you're shopping for yourself, if you're at the grocery store, you can go through and find good alternatives to, full calorie tortillas. You can find lower calorie tortillas that are still just as good. You can find protein, like cheese with more protein, less fat in it. You can find, obviously you're not getting much better than chicken. That's like the holy grail.
Yeah. And this is also a really good way to build a grocery list. Once you break down these categories, you can kind of use it to shop for your groceries, so you're not kind of just like buying random shit and snacks at the grocery store. I added a nice disclaimer here. Since people like to freak out, because we know everyone likes to freak out, I suggest at least getting all 3 macronutrients in your main meals. It's helpful and will help you increase your protein intake. It does not mean you can only eat something if it has protein, fats, carbs. All right? I think we can all understand that and be adults, but this is a good way to do it. Okay, here we go. We're going to get into the numbers. Grab a piece of paper and a pencil. We're going to decide how much food should we be eating. Okay, now you have the food that you're eating. You're probably going to be on one of these 3 trains. The losing train, the gaining train, or the maintaining train. Losing, cutting, bulking, maintaining, Okay, so there's a time and a place for all of them, but we're going to start by creating our base, which is maintaining. So to find your base, and this can be done 1,000 ways, and you could go to a professional, etc., here's an easy way to do it. Take your body weight in pounds, multiply it by 15. Now you have your estimated maintenance calories to eat every day. Okay.
Also, maintaining doesn't mean you're staying exactly the same. If you're at if you feel skinny fat or anything like that, you don't always need to bulk up and, gain a bunch of fat. You can build muscle by eating at your maintenance level calories
and increasing your protein.
Increasing protein.
Yeah, so maintenance, I actually think maintenance is a place that more people should be in. Like most people go, I'm sort of to cut or bulk. Like, babe, you might just need to maintain in a healthy way first. So here's a way to do it. I'm going to do a little side note here, and that is that the calories per macronutrient. So proteins and carbs have 4 calories per gram. Fats have 9 calories per gram. So fats are a little bit higher in calories for the same amount, but they're great still. So that's just so you know how you find the amount of calories based on what the nutrition facts and everything.
Yeah, and for fat, I know everybody likes to say fat's bad and you should get rid of fat, but the only reason they say that is because fat obviously has more calories per gram, so you're going to get less food mass per the same amount of calories as a carb or protein.
Yeah, fat is good and we need it for our hormones. So if you want to lose weight, you shouldn't cut all of your fat out. You need fat for building, for losing, etc.
It's just you're going to get, a smaller amount of food full of fat than you are full of carbs or protein.
Yeah, it's more calorie dense. Okay, so now we have our calories. So let's do some real numbers here. Let's pretend I'm 150 pounds. I'm actually 140 pounds. But we're pretending because I already wrote down what the math. So I'm 150 pounds. 150 times 15 is 2,250. So I know that for my body, I'm going to eat 2,250 calories every day. Write that down, okay? Now I'm going to split that up into how much protein, carbs, and fats I'm going to eat every day. So here are some portion sizes that I like because it's pretty balanced. So you're going to take 0.3 times 2,250 calories. That number, what is it?
Why do you keep doing this?
I don't know. Because I imagine like it going on the screen like the number and it like twinkling with like a little squiggle line under it. That number is 675 calories of protein per day divided by 4 calories per gram, 168.75 grams of protein every day. Okay. Now you can do that for fat and carb as well. Again, you just take the calories times 0.3 or 0.4, depending on which one. That is your amount of calories of that macronutrient divided by 4 calories or 9 calories per gram. That is how many grams of that macronutrient per day. So if you did all this, if you look in the newsletter, if you weigh 150 pounds, you're eating 168.75, okay, whatever, a range of that, 225 grams of carbs, 75 grams of fats every day. I would break this down into a range. So if you get 168.75 grams of protein to eat every day, shoot for 155 to 170 grams of protein a day, for example. If you get 225 grams of carbs every day, shoot for 200 to 250 grams of carbs every day, depending on how hungry you are or what your meals look like. Same for fats. Okay, now we're going to organize the day. So we have all the numbers. Again, subscribe or send me your email to get on the newsletter, and you can have all this information. You can write it down, you can break it down, or DM us for one-on-one coaching, and we will do it all for you. It's great. You don't have to do anything, okay? Anyways, organize your day. So some people like to eat 5 meals a day. Me, I'm the people. Some people eat 3, some eat 1. You completely get to choose. I feel best when I eat 5, Joey.
Sometimes I wake up and I'm just like not in the mood to eat in the morning, and then I get busy with something and I get distracted, and then, I have all my food to eat 5 p.m. plus, which it's not really the best way to do it because, if you're eating a lot like I am, it's hard to get that all down, in that short amount of time. If you're going to bed at a normal time, which I know a lot of people aren't, but still.
Yeah. So basically you're going to decide what's best for you, and you can change this daily. You can change it every week. You can do whatever works for you.
But you should probably stick to a good 4 weeks to get your body adapted to it.
But I would decide what are your weekdays going to look like? What are your weekends going to look like? What's going to be easiest for you? So for me, it's 5 meals a day. It makes me feel the best. So I'm going to take my 2,250 calories and I'm going to divide it by 5 meals, 5 even meals a day, which means I'm having about 5 450 calorie meals. All right. So if you wanted to do these even meals, you could take those calories and you could also divide all of your carbs, your fats, your protein by 5. And now you have everything's just divided by 5. It's super easy. And now you have your 5 even meals a day, and you can build that using the food that you like, right? But for me personally, I don't eat 5 even meals a day. I like to eat probably 3 even meals a day, and then a snack and a pre-workout, or a pre-workout or post-workout. So again, you could just divide it by 5. Now you have 5 times 450 calorie meals, and then take a little bit of calories from a few of those to make smaller snacks.
And 450 calories doesn't sound like a whole lot, but when you use those foods that we just went over and you break them down, you'll realize that you can make 450 calorie meals look like a lot more than it is and fill you up a lot more than it is.
Exactly. You can add veggies in. You can add a lot of veggies in. You don't have to think of just eating vegetables as your carbs. When I say carbs, I'm not talking too much about veggies. Obviously, they are a carb, but you can add a lot of those for volume because they're really good for you and they're lower calorie. So that's it. 5 easy steps. There you go. We'll go run through it really quick. So number 1, deciding what food you eat most regularly. Number 2, categorizing them into carbs, fats, protein. Number 3, organizing them into meals that you could eat every day. Number 4, using our easy equations to decide how much of everything you're eating. And number 5, organize your day into how many times you want to eat them, how many meals you want to have. This is my just very simple way for someone who's just getting into nutrition to find their baseline. If you wanted to go into a building phase, you might add 200 calories per week to that maintenance number and then just go from that calorie range. If you wanted to go to a cutting phase, you might take away 200 calories per week.
Also, I know this sounds scary and it's I'm definitely not going to be able to do all these things, go grocery shopping like this and do all this math and track all this. But even if you're not 100% consistent with it, even having this stuff in your brain and knowing your maintenance and knowing how many, you know what I mean, all the macros that you need to eat, even having that in your brain is better than, nothing at all.
Yeah, and you'll see a lot of people like myself. You'll see a lot of people like myself who like to track, like using apps like MyFitnessPal or things like that. That's great and that'll work, but I understand that can be stressful. I don't like to track all of the time for my entire life, So if you do this and just kind of become more aware of your macronutrients, of your food, make a little bit of healthier choices and eat a little more balanced in a calorie range, you don't need to track. Like, you will learn what feels good by following these easy 5 steps, and it's not necessary to track to reach your goals.
And
but it's amazing if you want it to.
It's all about like making it part of your lifestyle. So even if you're just guessing when when dinner's on the stove and you're just giving yourself a portion, even just guessing like, oh, this is probably this amount of calories, this much protein, many carbs, that stuff like that. And you will get used to doing that, and you will get like good at doing that. So even just thinking about it will help, even if you don't want to measure it, weigh it all out. It's all good.
Yeah. I will say, like, something that would be really helpful is if you could be patient for 1 week and you could build this plan and you could track it for 1 week. And you don't have to have a scale. Like, you could just measure by like half cup. Like, it could still be a little bit general. That will really show you what portion sizes should look like.
Yeah.
And then after that, you really won't need to track like that anymore. You can just spoon out your rice and you can say like, yeah, that's probably the amount of rice that I should be eating, or yeah, that's probably how much chicken I need to hit my protein.
And just like anything else, your body will get used to it. If you're at your maintenance calories, you'll know. You'll feel good. At the end of the day, you won't feel starving unless you're cutting, and you won't feel super full unless you're bulking. But
really, 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 I highly recommend finding your maintenance and being there in a healthy way, like upping your protein a little bit, balancing all your macros out within your maintenance calories for a little bit. Like, by a little bit, I mean like maybe 6 weeks at least, before going to a cutting or bulking. Because if you're just going from nothing, like eating out all the time, not knowing what you're eating, putting anything you want into your body, into cutting or bulking, it's not going to work that well. Like, you don't even know where you're coming from. Like, you need a baseline to go into one of those. So find your baseline before you start to attempt one of those. Odds are you might lose some weight in your maintenance.
Yeah.
Right? Most people eat over maintenance daily.
Which is okay. It's okay if you lose weight, because that means the weight that you're at right now isn't the weight that your body actually wants to be at.
Yeah. So up that protein, follow these 5 easy steps if you need somewhere to start. And again, send us your email through Mobilefitlab on Instagram, Bella Dinalo or Joey Dinalo, to get the newsletter every Sunday, or send us one-on-one in the DMs, or email me one-on-one for our one-on-one training. For our nutrition programs, we will literally break this down completely for you and write it all out. And I will legitimately give you meal plans and tell you how much to eat, everything like that. So if you're interested in that, message me one-on-one. And yeah, 1, 2, 3.
See you next time at Mobilefitlab.